This is the sound. Have you ever heard breathing? From inside your air vents? It sounds like this. If you have, then you probably already know what it means. But if you haven't, consider yourself lucky because for the most part, it's not normal. Our next Reddit user, Josh, found out the hard way. I'd moved into this dump of an apartment a few days ago. One night I was awoken in the middle of the night by what sounded like soft breathing coming from inside the air vent. I walked slowly towards the vent. I need to see if I'm going crazy. I felt like something was watching me from the vent. I cautiously approached and tried to grab the blanket. As I did, something flamed to life in the darkness. A small flame appeared at the end of the vent, growing larger and larger until it illuminated the entire shaft. I recoiled in surprise. Remind me to never breathe again. Inside the vent, I saw a small wax candle burning inside a jar. I recognized it from somewhere. I reached out and opened the vent cover. I shone my flashlight inside. It was just a shaft leading into the darkness. I leaned in and took a deep breath. Musty air filled my nostrils. I could feel something brush against my fingers. I pulled away quickly and saw what I thought was a small blanket in the air vent. At first I thought it was someone outside trying to sneak in. I live in a bad part of town, after all. But there was no way that someone could get close enough to my window without me hearing them. I fast-forwarded to the whispering part and listened intently. On the ground was a small piece of paper. I picked it up and unfolded it. On it was a picture of me sleeping. It was drawn very well, almost too well. And it was signed, "Love, your biggest fan." I don't remember the last time I slept. It said, "Don't leave me alone again." I looked back at the candle. It was almost out. I had to do something. I grabbed some water and rushed back to the vent. I poured the water over the candle and it sputtered out. I leaned in and breathed a sigh of relief. It was out. It was definitely coming from the vent. I just couldn't figure out where it was coming from. I tried to go back to sleep, but the breathing grew louder and more rapid. I got up to investigate. It was in a quiet part of town and suspiciously cheap, but the landlord seemed desperate to rent it out. This vent covers the entire wall. There are a few smaller vents along here, but this is the biggest one. I peered into the darkness. It was pitch black in there with just a sliver of light coming from under my door. I couldn't make out anything in the darkness, but whatever it was, it seemed to be getting closer. Breathing heavily, I backed away and tried to go back to bed. Privacy was the main reason why I decided to move in. The apartment was a bit run down, but the walls were thick and the windows were few and far between. There was also a massive air vent that ran along one wall. I figured it was just an air vent. I didn't think much of it. As the days passed, I began to notice weird things. The breathing seemed to be coming from right here. I tossed and turned for a while before falling back asleep. In the morning I got up and went straight to my laptop to post on Reddit. It wasn't until 2 in the afternoon that I remembered what happened the night before. I had to listen to the recording. I pulled out my phone and hit play. For the first 2 hours, it was just silence. Then as clear as day, I heard a raspy whisper. It said, "Don't leave me alone again." Then it was silence once more. I froze. I looked over at the vent, then at my phone. My hands were shaking. I have to admit, I was scared at this point. I rushed back to my laptop and played the audio again. But as I did, I noticed something else. Yeah, rightly so. Glad you got out of that situation okay.